What's up, YouTube? All right, so SHOT Show 2026 is officially over. All the influencers went home, the manufacturers packed their bags, and the dust has finally settled. But what I want to talk about is, like, last week I made some predictions, or at least some noteworthy points on what I felt was going to be kind of important this year at SHOT Show. And now that I want to talk about what really mattered, since everything has been gone, it's been an interesting week. I spent the last week scouring the internet, multimedia, social media, walkthroughs, spec sheets. I'm trying to cut through the noise, so anybody else like me who could not attend SHOT Show this year, I want us to be able to see what was out there so we can be prepared for the trends that are upcoming for this year. This isn't everything that was at SHOT Show, but to me, this is what stood out and what we should be paying attention to going through 2026. So let's get to it. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is what I have seen that is going to be a blow up this year. Last week I spoke about how last year 2011s took over the floor of SHOT Show. This year, 2011s were there. There was a couple of innovative things that I think we're going to discuss. But the biggest news of the year is that there's cans everywhere. Cans, silencers, suppressors, hush-hush toys, whatever you want to call it. They were everywhere. Every company seems to be jumping into the fray for suppressors. And I mean, can you blame them? We have the zero tax stamp now that has swept the country, and those states that allow suppressors, you are going to have a blast. Unfortunately, us in the Empire State, New York, big city and dreams, we're not allowed to have suppressors with or without a tax stamp. Only the police or law officers are allowed to do that. So we're going to miss out, but you know, as we do with a lot of different guns that are illegal in New York, we could still watch, pray, and join in through channels like this, you know, YouTube, social media, Instagram, all of those things. So you guys are going to see them. I can't wait to see which ones kind of bubble to the top. There were some good prices as well. I've seen a couple of suppressors that were at $350 on the show floor. So I think there was High Point had one that was $350. I do not know what it was for. It's probably for like a 22. I have to go back and take a look at that information. But to be honest, I believe this is a good thing. The push for suppressors as a normalized necessity for protection of our hearing, and to me, you know, I think most of suppressors have had a bad rep, and most people think that, you know, you can go around like an assassin and no one will hear you. People don't realize that these are just suppressors and they're not silencers. You know, they kind of coin these things silencers. So, you know, thanks to action films and things like that, 007, you know, those movies always had somebody shooting a suppressor and it's like, you know. But that's not the case. It has always had some type of noise, but this just lowers the decibels and it should be a necessity. So we're now going to see a lot more people shooting with suppressors. It's a good thing. So the High Point one that I said was about $350. It's not the lightest, it's not the prettiest, but it does lower the barrier to enter into that stage. A lot of suppressors before were a lot more money. There's a company called Off-Grid Suppressors. I saw one for starting around $469. I'm not sure if that was for a 22 as well, but these price points of these type of devices are really coming down, so that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. Let's see, they have some of the innovation this year, we saw hub mounting, different types of mounting. They were everywhere. Shorter cans, better gas management. And suppressors are now being treated like standard accessories, as they should have been for years. Like I said, we just have been told that they're like the boogeymen, and we should not own them. So, of course, the double stack Farage continues, and comps dominated this year. You know, you had, towards the end of the year, you had everybody coming out with ported versions of their pistols for 2011s and 2025. This year is the comp, the rise of the comp. So let's see. I'm first going to start off with one of the guns that people seem to be very disappointed in, and me and Bull from Empire were talking about this the other day, and it just kind of saddens us to see that people utilize these names to really manipulate prices in the market. So, you know, what I'm talking about is Staccato. Now, I do not own a Staccato. I've shot a couple Staccatos. I think Anthony and me are going shooting again. I have a story to tell about me going shooting this past week indoors, and me and Anthony met up once again. I got to shoot my beloved Erebus and Apollo. But one of the things we were talking about is, me and Bull, were how Staccato kind of changed. I wouldn't say they changed. It was always custom guns that were pretty expensive, but the popularity, their marketing was brilliant, and Staccato ended up having many people start looking and paying attention to 2011s. So we're going to fast forward to now. What was new in their booth was their C3X, I believe it was called, Staccato C3X. Was, I believe it's like a 375 barrel. It's compensated, and a lot of people compared it to HDP4, but it's like almost $1,000 more than that gun. So it seems like Staccato's going skyrocketing based on not much more performance than some of their previous guns, and the price is going up. And a lot of people complained about that. They didn't seem to be happy, you know. So what's going to happen with Staccato? Is Staccato fair game for another company to come and just take the wins from their sale and their notoriety? Is it still reliable? Is it still refined? We are going to find out. I don't know if I'm going to get my hands on that. I'm going to see if Empire can get a couple of them in. Maybe I don't know who they spoke to while they were at SHOT Show, but I am eager to find out what they thought about this new Staccato. But now it's premium, and does it deserve to be? Time will tell. We'll see. Kimber, I think day one of the show floor, I heard some news about Kimber, and you know they really did a great job this past year with their 2K line, and they're doing more of that. So one of the things that were kind of cool, and I think I've seen this a couple of places, and I'm going to talk about them as well. But the Kimber now has a double stack 10mm, which I thought was awesome. I still want to get my hands on it. And I believe that was like 6 inches. It was a 6-inch double stack 10mm pistol as a 2011. And that's kind of cool. All right. They've been quietly improving. There was a time, just like Springfield kind of came back with some of the guns that they came out with. The Hellcat is one of them. And people started paying attention. But there was a time when the industry was pretty upset with them. Kimber was putting out just whatever. And this is what I was told or heard coming through the grapevine, because I wasn't really into Kimbers at the time. You know, we kind of knew they were in New York and they had a premium price tag. But I was told or heard that they were becoming very unreliable, and the quality was not really up to the price tag that they were asking for. But this past year really kind of did a good did a number for them, because they and their Kimber 2K11 really did well. The next gun that I wanted to talk about, I think a lot of people will be bringing this gun up, and it's one of those Turkish guns that became a household name, and that is Canik. So Canik last year did a collab with Tactical, and they had the TTI. Right, so this year they decided they were going to go back and do another collab, and this time they did it with the Radiant. And you know, if anybody knows ARs, or if you're in the AR world, a lot of Radiant products we use in our AR-15s just because they're superior in some ways and they're very awesome. But this past year they came out with that ramjet that you can affix to Glocks, and it did something. It made a noise. So they teamed up, Canik and Radiant, and they came out with something called the Prime, and it just makes some sense, man. It's a comped barrel, Radiant style backstrap system, micro combat vibes. They're tired of being budget. They're here. The Canik is not playing. So we'll see what the pricing is on that. You know, we're not going to talk about pricing too much here anyway. I might say something is more than something else, but, you know, they did give an idea of what prices could be on some of these products, but that's not really for us to discuss. It's more or less what we should be looking for. Another company that really kind of finished the year of 2025 off in a positive note was that Alpha Foxtrot. That Romulus, many people don't know, I almost brought a Romulus, but I went in another direction. We will be talking, well, I'll bring that up eventually. Probably my next video will talk about what I ended up getting into on my journey to that Atlas, you know. First time I was shooting this past week, after 2 months, about 2 months, 7 weeks or so. And that gun that I have now, I did take out and I loved it. But I was about to pick up the Romulus. I didn't think it was a high enough jump. But anyway, forget about me. The Romulus, this year, they have a double stack 45 with a 13+1. They have a double stack 10 millimeter with 15 or an 18 extended. Comes with either bull barrel or comp, an acro cut, aluminum grit modules now available for all the Romulus. They're not playing, man. It's a good gun. Everybody who did a review on the Romulus said that it was a really flat shooting gun, especially for the price. You know, we're talking 2011s, so you know how 2011s, they have a very broad price range, but the Romulus was one of the lower priced pistols for that type of gun, and you know, for the price, it was crazy. So look out for the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus this year. I think it is going to be a blast. And we're going to see a lot of them. And deservingly so. All right. Something that was really kind of cool to me is one of my guns that I have on a specific list of watch out for, and it's dope. You know, I'm still on this whole 2011 gravy train, and Phoenix Trinity is one of those guns that kind of have their finger on the pulse. They know what they're doing. Matter of fact, I think Anthony said he was going to bring his H next week for us to, this week coming up, for us to shoot the Phoenix Trinity H. So what they had this year was the H2, and they're ready for this competition performance, man. You can choose, once again, you got these ported barrels. They have a sight block barrel or a comp barrel setup. and that thing looked awesome. It's a very beautiful gun. So I'm looking forward to this week shooting the original H with Anthony, and I will tell you guys how that actually worked out, you know. What else? Agency Arms. Agency Arms, they have something called Project Alias. It is a 2011. It has an island barrel. And this is one of the things about I think it's the XC that people say from Staccato that really do put it in the league of where it is. That comp barrel is a great idea. The island barrel, is a great idea. And Agency Arms is coming out with that. It's supposed to be really tight tolerances. It'll probably be pricey, but there will be people that absolutely buy this, and in particular, you know, I'm sure 2A in LA, since, you know, I follow him, he'll probably have that. And I'm sure he'll do a review. And if I see it, I'll tell you guys about it, you know, and link you guys towards his YouTube channel. Something that I thought was really cool, because when I did go shooting this past week, I also took out that Mac. And you guys know I have a Swamp Fox optic red dot. I think it's a red dot on that. And I really haven't taken that out and truly zeroed it in. I had it in the vicinity of where I wanted to shoot, because I was shooting steel outdoors before the temperature dropped to ridiculously levels in the Northeast, man. We've been below zero so much since November. It's been ridiculous. But taking it out, putting it on paper, seeing how off it was, because, you know, it wasn't really, like I said, zeroed in completely. So I got to really do a good once over on it for the first time, truly. And there's a lot of work that I got to do for that gun, and it was always planned to be that way. That was my entrance into the 2011 space. So probably gonna have to do a couple of tune-up kits, ignition kits. So that brings me up to this next product from Atlas. They have something called Perfect Zero, and if you visit Atlas enough, you've seen and heard of Perfect Zero, but now they're coming out with builder kits. 2011 builder kit. I thought this was really dope. They're working with a company called Optimum Manufacturer, and they have slides, really tight, tolerant slides that are going to come with this kit. And the rest is all Atlas parts, man. You got everything to build a 2011 minus the optic plate, the magazine, and the mag well. Yes. And I think that is dope, because the pricing that they came out with is pretty good. I mean, considering you're using all Atlas parts, it's something to look out for. I would like to see what this kit is. I know everybody knows EGW, and there's a couple of other kits out there that if you wanted to like tune up your 2011. But Atlas to me still is the standard, and I was pretty excited about this. Perfect Zero Atlas 2011 Builder Kit. Awesome. All right. What else do we have? We had some striker gun upgrade stuff. There was this company called Grit Grips, and they were for Glocks. They had better texture, better ergonomics, no frame surgery. It's supposed to be pretty easy to utilize these grips. And then I saw a couple of cool products coming from Walter. You know, Walter always has these pretty guns that are kind of really priced out of most people's pockets, and you know, they always have those on display. But something that was really cool was the PDP F Series Pro X PMM. and that's a factory comped concealable version of the PDP. I'm really interested in that because I don't want to carry a small gun just because it's concealable. I want to carry a gun that is shootable, which is why I don't mind carrying larger guns. But if this is a smaller frame for the F version of the PDP and it's supposed to be that much shootable, then you can sign me up. So I would really like to see how that sizes up, and I'm sure Empire will probably have no problem getting that in to their store. And if I do see it, I'll take a picture of it, and I'll try to do like a pretty good rundown of how it feels in my hand, and I'll let you guys know. All right. Another thing that it seems like everybody is doing as a manufacturer now is optics. Optics were everywhere as well. They kind of get overlooked now because of, like I said, the cans. The cans were the big things. 2011s are shining, but optics. And last week I did mention that I wanted to see and trying to anticipate what Holosun was going to be coming out with. And Holosun had something that was bigger than the 507 comp. It was called the 507 Pro Max, and it's bigger than the 507 comp, which is awesome. You know, I am still someone who loves the aesthetics of the SRO. Plus, I love that it is from Trijicon, and everything that Trijicon makes, you can put it through the gambit, man. These are usually on duty pistols, and they last, and that is the tried and true thing about Trijicon. You know, you had the ACOG, you have the RMR, all these different types of things that come from Trijicon is known to last. So Holosun is always trying to be relevant, especially in that space. So that is something that I would like to see, this Pro Max, because like I said, the SRO I want, but my pockets don't. I probably will get that for on one of my guns, and maybe a few more, but I do want to see this 507 Pro Max and actually put it through its paces and get my hands on that, because I know it will most likely be competitively priced. All right. They also had a Holosun EPS core, which was an enclosed emitter. It seems like a lot of companies are starting to do these enclosed emitters for duty carry. You know, this is what this one is supposed to be, so we'll see how that is. Then there was a Trijicon VCOG. It was a 1:8 LPVO, and that seemed to be pretty nice as well. It was outfitted in FDE. It was the first focal plane, and it's supposed to be, once again, Trijicon built like a tank. Those were three optics that I kind of looked at that said, this is something that I would like to see and put my hands on. So I'm going to do a video, and this is going to probably be in succession. Like I said, I have this new gun. I have something that I want to talk about in terms of ARs. I promised that before, so we're going to get into that. But rifles in general, I never really get a chance to talk about them, and we're going to make that change this year. So there's this one company that is pretty awesome, and it's called Maxim Defense. And if anybody's seen them, I'll probably put up the PDX. This is the PDX. Yeah, the PDX. I'll put a picture of that beautiful gun. But they have an SDX reflex. I think it is chambered as 300 blackout. But it had an integral suppressor. It was the same DNA as the PDX. It was compact, and it was purpose built. And that gun looked really kind of cool. So I would like to be able to see that. Once again, a lot of these guns that the Maxim Defense had were smaller guns in terms of pistols and SBRs, and I'm in New York, so I don't even really give them the time of day, because I know that I can't purchase them. But they're beautiful. So, this year we're going to go over some of these things that we can't have in this state, but, we can wish. And also, I'm reaching out to everybody. Like I said before, we're all in this together. So anything that's in the gun space and it is making a splash or is relevant, we kind of want to touch base on it, So that was Maxim Defense. There's another company that I really have affinity and respect for, and it is a company down in Texas. I got one of my lowers. I got a couple of lowers from them, and they're called Sons of Liberty Gun Works. And about 2 years ago, they always have been looked at in the industry as really great manufacturers, but the owner decided that they were really going to take this to another level, and because of their reputation, there was no doubt that they could. And excuse me, they have come out with a Mark I. Listen, let me tell you, this gun is an AR-15 that is just beautiful, and the things that they did with this gun just make sense. It's not just a good-looking gun. There is reason for every design detail, and I don't know. I would like to buy one. I really would. There's a couple of other companies that I like. Their AR-15s. Cobalt Dynamics is another one that I think has such tight tolerances, and these modular designs, these monolithic designs, and Sons of Liberty is one of those companies that really do a great job with their AR-15s. So they got a SOCOM contract, so good for them. They're really making some moves and pushing the envelope for them as a manufacturer. So it's no fluff, it's real. And Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark I, I'll have a picture up, I'm sure, of it. Take a look at it in all of its grandeur, beautifulness. All right. Another company that was kind of cool. And listen, I'm an AR guy. So I love ARs. I understand ARs. I build ARs. There's another gun that is always giving the AR a run for its money, and most countries have been using them for years. They're very reliable. If you don't know, AK-47. A lot of my friends love AKs. Those guns are just violent. I have to shoot some more of them, but every time that I've shot an AK-47, man, it just does what it wants to do. That gun is no joke, and this is one of the reasons why they came out with a program for the next generation squad weapons, and SIG won that one with the Spear, the LT Spear, because they're trying to find a gun that can reach out as far as it can. And the AK-47 actually does reach out just a little bit further, at least in terms of lethality over the AR-15. So there's a couple of companies that have really been trying to push the AK for the American market, and Black Ordnance is one of them. They came out with something called the Freedom Fighter, and it is an AK clone. It's US made. And they are about quality control, because a lot of the things about the AKs is that they're just different. You can get one made from China, there's Russia, there's Romanian, and for some reason they all have little different nuances. So, this is a company that says, listen, we have this, it's made in the United States. We are going to be able to have quality control, so we know if you get one and your friend gets one, they are the same guns. So hats off to them, kudos, and I gotta give AK-47s another chance, So that's the cool thing about going outdoor ranges like Calverton. I get to see these guns pretty regularly. So this year I'm going to try to put another one in my hands and get my attitude right about AK-47s. All right. Another thing that did well last year, I think it was last year. Everybody knows Henry. Henry came out with their lever action. I think it was the beginning of the year, and that gun sold. Whether you're in a state that is as free as you want it to be in terms of the Second Amendment, or you live in restricted gun-controlled states like New York and California, a lever action didn't hurt nobody. So those are guns that are usually allowed everywhere. And Smith & Wesson came out with a lever action. Pretty cool. It's a modern take on a legacy brand. And that one looked pretty cool. And if anybody knows, Smith & Wesson is one of my favorite gun manufacturers as well. Been around for a long time, so you're getting what you are paying for. It's not like it's a really expensive gun, but when you buy a Smith & Wesson, you know you're in the right hands. Another company that's doing a lever action was Marlin. The cool thing about the Marlin lever action that I saw, it was 10 millimeter. There's a couple of 10 millimeter offerings this year, and I never shot a 10 millimeter gun, so I'm gonna get on that right away. It's suppressor host ready. The 10 millimeter is here. It refuses to die, and I'm here for it. It's all right. Okay. One of the things that I usually use when I am building or thinking about a gun that is an AR-15 platform, that is the type of furniture I can use, right? And one of the reasons is because in New York, if you want to have a AR-15, it cannot be a spooky one. And what do I mean by a spooky one? A spooky AR-15 is one that becomes classified as an assault rifle. How do I change that? So if you want to have, we're going to talk about this next week in detail, but if I want to have a gun that has a removable magazine, there's one thing in particular I need to have, and that is a fixed rifle stock. The gun has to be a certain size, obviously, in terms of length. And one company that I always turn to is Magpul. Magpul had some really cool designs this year. They expanded their color palette, and they have something, the OD green is back. So you can get OD green PMags and other furniture. They had something called the medium coyote tan and the the modified coyote brown. I'll try to get a picture of those. Very pretty, cool, gives you some nice options if you are like me and you love to build your own gun and outfit it with the colors that you like. Magpul, I'm with you. So, some of the other things that I think were really eye-catching and industry attention-grabbing is one company in particular called Zermatt Arms. And they're doing something a little bit different. It's not a Glock, it's not a 2011 or 1911, but something different. And they took all the cues from the 2011, 1911 market, and it seems like it's just a lot of cool little nuances about this gun that seems like it is going to be something to look out for. So that's Zermatt Arms. I might have a picture of the gun. Maybe I'll even have a little bit of a description of what the manufacturer says about it being a little bit different. What else do we have that I want to talk about? All right, so in my 2011s, I have to talk about them. Cardinal Arms came out with a comped version of its G2. I want that gun. I want to put my hands on it, but I do like that. I always talk about the CNC Akira, and then there's the Cardinal Arms that is kind of cool. So they came out with their comp version. Alpha American came out with a 2011 towards the end of the year. I kind of went over that 2K in LA, Tactical Bearded Dad, the Weapons Collective, and Team Blacksmith. When they met at Covert. Covert is one of the companies, I think, or the company that is actually helping Alpha American come to market. Anyway, that was one of the guns to look out for. And this year they're coming out with its ported version of the gun. So I'm sure that one is pretty dope as well. What else? It was a gun called FDP/P, and it was a folding gun. It was kind of interesting. Like to see it come out. All right. Can't forget my company Ruger. My daughter has a nice 1022. Also on the Bolt Action bandwagon. It's not a bandwagon. It's been around for a while, but yeah, Ruger had a couple of really cool bolt action guns, rifles, with almost any cartridge that you can imagine being chambered in. They had the 5.56 bolt action. They had a 7.62 by 39 with AK mags. That's pretty dope. 300 Blackout's going to be coming down the pipe. Then they're going to have a 6 arc. They have the 350 Legend. They have a 308, and they're going to be chambering also in 338. Pretty cool, man. Might have to pick up one of those bolt action. I have a nice bolt action AR-10. Pretty heavy though. It's a big gun, but bolt action AR-10 can't really beat that. So I am looking at that. Last year, SIG. We talked about Kimber already. Those are the two guns that I think really shocked the industry with their 2011 offerings. You had the 2K11 and then you had the P211. So what they're doing this year is they had their GTO. This year they're going to have a GT5, which is going to be a bull barrel for 2026. They're going to have a GT4, which is a 4.25 barrel. It's going to be a steel frame with an aluminum grip for the P211. I think that is going to be a very hot item as well. And they're both supposed to be a little bit cheaper than the GTO. They also had a comped 365 Fuse. The Fuse was a gun that people kind of really enjoyed last year. And this year they're going to be doing a comp version of that, and I think that's going to be kind of dope. Look into that as well as at Walter for a carry gun. I'll let you guys know what I think when I do see that. Rock Island. I don't know if you guys know Rock Island, but Rock Island came and they brought something called the Pack out. It was a shotgun, and you can fold this thing up to a very small gun. They had 2 versions of it, one that was smaller than the other one. But for a collapsible shotgun, go ahead, Rock Island. It's pretty dope. PSA was there. My man Mike, he's staying with his sister down in South Carolina. Yeah, he's on the channel before, but he's not too far from Palmetto State Armory. But they're coming out with an Icarus 1911-ish gun and FDE. I will try to throw a picture of that up there, and so you guys can see that. I think that that's good to look at. Another 2011 that really showed itself out at SHOT Show this year was the Jacob Gray Hex Pro. Now remember last year they had the Hex. I don't know if they were at SHOT Show. They were at a couple of industry shows. I don't believe they were at SHOT Show in the beginning of the year. They might have been. I might be wrong about that. But I do remember seeing the Hex. And I forgot who was talking to them. But they were saying they were coming after Atlas. So, and Carter from Empire picked up a nice Hex a few months ago maybe. But this one is going to be the Hex Pro. It's got premium machining. You got a distinctive slide geometry. It's comp ready. Boutique tier, but well thought out. They said it's a nice gun. It looked really good. So that was another 2011 that I felt was worthy of a notice, you know. So anyway, if you want a deeper dive on any of these or on-hand reviews, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about what you saw, if you did pay attention to any videos about SHOT Show 2026. It's over now, and I'm making a vow to go next year in 2027. I want to be in Vegas on the floor so I can get my own footage for you guys and take you along with me. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that you give me a little bit of feedback. If you want to know more about guns, if you have idea about what you want to do with the guns, or if you're confused about getting a gun and you want to have some just regular guy type advice, or just kind of explain certain topics about guns, come aboard. I'd love to have you, you know. I appreciate everybody who has given me a minute, a second, or even watch one full video of mine, man. You don't understand how much you are appreciated. Anyway, on that note, remember that I love you guys. Let's lift each other up instead of looking at our differences, man. We all need each other. Subscribe, hit the notification, give me a thumbs up, you know. Spread the word. Tell them that I Want a Gun is a channel that is for everybody, you know. And until next time, peace.